Hi, welcome back to Masks. This week, we're stripping back the layers of the brave face mask, leading through the looming shadow. It's that heavy piece of gear we strap on when the future is looking grim, but the team is looking for us to call the next play. Let's set the stage. Picture a classic London pub, the kind where the burgers are thick, the milkshakes are surprisingly good, and the beer even better. I was there with five of my top people. They weren't just colleagues, they were the folks I played the long game with across a dozen different high stakes projects. We were all dressed in that specific agency uniform, black jeans, designer shoes, and for me, my ultimate success badge, a crisp, perfectly ironed Ben Sherman shirt. Now, I didn't just have one of these, I had 10. They were a gift for delivering Ben Sherman's new global website, and I wore them like a gold medal. Yes, I know that's a bit much. Welcome to the ego of an early career leader. That shirt was my visual shorthand for relax. Chris is here and Chris delivers. But that evening, the shirt felt like a cheap costume from a high school play. Here's the reality of the game we were playing. Behind the scenes, the engine was stalling. I've been stuck in company strategy meetings for weeks. The kind where the air smells like stale coffee and fear, and the spreadsheets are all highlighted in red. The London market was tightening up. The roadmap was looking as bare as a supermarket shelf during a pandemic. And we were suddenly, unexpectedly overstaffed for the work we actually had coming in. I was the only one at the table that evening who knew how thin the ice was. My technical directors, guys who could outcode me and certainly outstyle me, felt the chill. They knew the pitches had dried up. They knew we had not won what we had expected to win. They knew zero requests to pitch had come in lately. Then, between bites of burgers and sips of milkshakes, the question landed: are we okay? In that split second, you have two playbooks. I could have been Chris, the guy who is just as terrified as they are, or I could be the manager, the guy who holds the line. I chose the brave face mask. I didn't take that fake executive laugh, you know, the one. It sounds like a manufactured robot because I've always found that transparency desperate. Instead, I played it London Agency Brave. I've navigated tougher waters than this, I told them, with a confidence I absolutely did not feel. It's just a seasonal blip. The pipeline's going to refill any day now. Part of me truly believed what I was saying, and part of me was worried I was completely and utterly wrong. I talked about project extensions that were in the works, which was code for I'd sent 6 hopeful emails and hadn't heard anything back. I know us leaders don't usually admit to praying to the inbox gods, but here I was. I was performing a masterclass in impressionist management. I wasn't trying to be a villain. I was trying to protect their weekend. I was terrified that if I showed a single flicker of doubt, the team's morale would crumble like a biscuit dunked in tea for too long. 2 weeks later, the scoreboard didn't lie. 30% of the team had to go. And guess what? I was the one who had to give them the news, knowing full well that my own name was on that list, right next to my boss's. Meeting with each of them and handing out those redundancy notices was infinitely harder than receiving my own. But that night, riding home on the Central Line, I wasn't an executive anymore. I was just a guy staring at my own tired reflection in the tube window again. wearing what I call the stare into space mask. I was completely drained by the performance when I got by the performance. I got home, stared at the ceiling for what felt like 8 hours, and worried about how to help my old team land on their feet. Here's the play. Redundancy is a strategic pivot, not a personal failure. I took 3 months to explore the world, something I'd wanted to do for years but was always too busy. It cleared my head, and when I came back to the game, I landed a role that was bigger and with more responsibility. When I mentor people now, I tell them your positivity is your fuel, but don't let the mask become a lead weight. That brave face mask I wore at the pub was heavy, but the intent, the desire to be a lighthouse for my team when the fog rolled in was genuine. It's okay to be the lighthouse. Just remember to take the mask off when you're off the clock. You need to save some of that energy for your own recovery. The next time your team asks if things are okay and you can't give them the full breakdown of the scoreboard, don't just talk big. Give them the confidence that you are okay and that the human talent in the room is more resilient than any corporate structure. In other words, you can't predict the future. Don't do it. Just reassure them that whatever happens, their talent and their positivity will see them good. If you want the full story on why leading through the shadows requires more than just a stiff upper lip, read the complete breakdown in the article below. Until next week, remember, the best play you can make is the real one. You've been listening to Christopher Stanley and my Mask series. If you've enjoyed the show, please drop a like. Please comment. It fuels my passion even more. And a free subscription is gold. Until next time, stay human. Remember, there is always light at the end of the tunnel.